Hey friends, it's Alex Lozier here, and welcome to my YouTube channel where we talk about gemstones, jewelry, magic, and all things spiritually inclined. And for those of you that don't know me, please allow me to introduce myself. I am a jeweler and a lover of crystals, and I believe that your body is your most sacred space, and that jewelry has the power to help us integrate the wisdom of the body with the magic of the soul. So that's why I create gemstone jewelry and magical talismans that are meant to be used as tools for personal empowerment. So it's a little bit about me and my background. I'm formally trained as a silversmith, but like I said, my true love is working with stones. So today I would like to just talk to you guys a little bit about what a crystal is, how crystal healing works, and just some tools and tips that you can use for incorporating crystals into your spiritual practice. So I have some of my favorite crystals here. I have an amethyst crystal. That's this purple one here. I often think as amethyst as like the gateway crystal. Back when I was a kid, we had the DARE program to keep kids off drugs. And, you know, they said that marijuana was the gateway drug. Well, amethyst is kind of like, in my opinion, the gateway crystal. So many people get amethyst as their first crystal. I know that my first crystal was amethyst. I also have a cobalto calcite here, which if you are familiar with my channel, you've probably heard me talk about this crystal before because I've had some big breakthroughs and healing using this crystal. I also have a fibrous malachite crystal here, as well as a black tourmaline. So these are just some of my favorite crystals, and we're going to talk about some of their energetic properties in just a moment. But first, let's just talk about what is a crystal. What makes a crystal different from a basic rock that you could find in your driveway? Well, if we were to look at a crystal under an electron microscope, what we would find is that a crystal is actually a molecule made up of specific elements, and the way that these elements arrange themselves in this molecular pattern is a precise mathematical geometric pattern that repeats and repeats and repeats until it becomes the form of the crystal in front of you, essentially. So when we're thinking about working with crystals, essentially what we're doing is we're working with this principle of coherence and alignment. We're working with precise geometric repeating patterns. And each crystal has its own frequency, which basically means that matter equals energy. Everything has energy. All matter vibrates essentially because all matter is a store of energy. And so this energy is actually measurable, and crystals are no exception. So crystals have their own frequency, their own vibrational pattern, and this pattern comes from the elements that the crystal is made up of. And this is also where crystals get some of their healing properties from. Like, for example, this crystal right here, the fibrous malachite, if you look at this crystal very closely, you'll notice that it looks like a bunch of fibers, and it's actually a bunch of fibers of, it's primarily a copper-based mineral. So some of the properties of this healing crystal, it's a crystal of the heart chakra. And also a lot of people use this for money manifesting. You know, this is a really great stone, for example, to use with the intention of I am a money magnet. And part of that is because this stone is made of copper, and copper is a highly conductive element. So when we're working with malachite, we're actually tapping into its conductive properties to make ourselves a magnet for money if we're doing money manifesting with this stone, which is a really common healing aspect or magical property of working with malachite. So that's just a little fun fact about malachite. But what about some of these other crystals that I have here? What about the amethyst? So when we're working with crystals, a really easy way to figure out, well, what are the healing properties of a stone are to cross-reference it with the chakra healing chart. So the chakra healing chart is a system of healing that looks at the energetic systems in the body that correspond to different organs as well as different emotions. And when these energy systems in the body get blocked, they have a tendency to develop associated sicknesses or emotional baggage, essentially, when the chakra is blocked. And each one also has a positive manifestation of that chakra as well. And if you guys want me to go deeper into each chakra and its meaning and what crystals you can use to work with each chakra, let me know in the comments, because I'd be happy to do a whole series on working with each chakra and how you can use crystals to unblock your chakras. So going back to the amethyst, amethyst is a purple crystal. So in the chakra healing system, we would find purple at the crown of the head. So this tells us that amethyst is a very spiritual crystal because your crown chakra, when it's open and flowing harmoniously, the crown chakra is what helps us to feel that we are an interconnected part of the world around us and helps us feel that we are a part of something greater than ourselves. And then let's talk about these two crystals here, the cobaltocalcite and the malachite. Well, these two crystals both actually resonate with the heart chakra, and even though they're two different colors, both pink and green are actually both colors of the heart chakra. So if you're working with heart healing, you could work with either one of these crystals, but they do manifest their healing in a bit of a different way, I would say. Pink, I would say, is more a crystal that is for heart healing and self-love. And once we've done that work of healing the heart, then we can start to amplify our sense of self-worth. And this is where manifesting money can come in, because when we have a high sense of self-worth, then we also have the capacity to experience more abundance and make more money in our life. And we can't really do that until we heal our heart first, because if our heart is hurting and if we don't have self-confidence, or we're in a state of experiencing loss, it's going to be hard to bring in more abundance, right? So we kind of have to do this work of the pink, if you will, or healing the heart, opening the heart, in order to allow more energy to flow through the green. I hope that makes sense. And then we have the black tourmaline, which is actually one of my favorite crystals. So black tourmaline, and any black crystal in particular, this is going to actually resonate with the root chakra. Now, if we were to look at the chakra healing chart, we wouldn't necessarily find black on it, because the chakra healing chart goes from red at the base of the spine up through the visible light spectrum, or the color spectrum, Roy G. Biv, to purple at the crown of the head. So when we're working with any kind of black crystals, so black tourmaline, shungite, onyx, black spinel, I'm trying to think of some other ones, smoky quartz, these crystals are all going to resonate with the root chakra. So for the most part, they're all going to be grounding, they're going to be protective. And one little added benefit about black tourmaline that I absolutely love is that this is a really great stone for anyone who works on a computer or is on their cell phone a lot, because black tourmaline also has the added benefit of mitigating the negative effects of EMFs. So, and the other thing is, if you think about black, it's a color that absorbs, right? We know that black absorbs light, it absorbs heat. So when we think about it from that perspective, it makes sense that this crystal would also absorb and mitigate negative energy. So you can think of black stones kind of as like a shield for chaos, a shield for negativity. And then I would say any kind of like clear stone or white stone, if you think about it from a perspective of light, white light is essentially all of the colors. So you can think of like a clear quartz crystal, for example, as neutral in its energy, or that in a way it can almost be any color, because it's white light is all of the colors. And when we're looking at crystals and we're identifying their healing properties by their color, essentially that's what we're doing, is we're identifying which frequency of visible light is this crystal within range? Which spectrum of visible light is this crystal in alignment with? And essentially, going back to the example of the fibrous malachite, it's different elements that are present in the crystal molecule itself that are going to also, in addition to the color, bring about these healing properties. So for example, the fibrous malachite gets its color from copper, and that makes it conductive and has the ability to help make you into a little money magnet. So those are just some fun little ways that you can work with crystals and start to identify their healing properties. But once you acquire your crystals, what do you do with them, right? Well, one of my favorite ways to work with crystals obviously is wearing jewelry, because like I said in the beginning of the video, jewelry has the ability to help us integrate the wisdom of the body with the magic of the soul. And when you pair that with a specific intention that you're either working on healing or you're trying to manifest something in your life, wearing a crystal on your body every day with intention really helps amplify your own personal energy, and it starts working also with your subconscious mind, so that your subconscious mind can start doing a lot of the heavy lifting for you in your manifesting work, essentially. And it helps you kind of get into that flow state. So every time you put on a piece of jewelry, if it has a crystal in it especially, you're not only tapping into your own intention, but you're also tapping into this idea of aligning and resonating with that crystal. And it can get really powerful when you do this work also with your chakras in mind. Another way that you can work with crystals, and this is kind of a fun technique, is to take your crystal and you can ask it before you go to bed to send you a little message, and put it on your nightstand and go to sleep. And sometimes this can take a few nights, but I would recommend keeping a dream journal or your book of shadows next to your bed. And again, maybe you're working on manifesting something or healing an aspect of yourself. Whatever it is that you're trying to do, you can ask your crystal to send you a message about the spiritual work that you're doing. And then record your experience. So if you have a dream, make sure you try and remember as many details as you can. Were there specific colors involved? Did you actually visually see your crystal? Were there any animals that showed up? Was there a specific message of the dream? You're going to want to start to record all these things, because essentially what you're doing is you're tapping into your own personal symbolism. So this is how a lot of healing happens often, right? Especially with dreams, because essentially what's happening is our subconscious mind is communicating to us, and the subconscious mind speaks in images and metaphors, and the language is really quite cryptic, so we have to do some investigative work to decode it. Another really great way is to meditate with your crystal. So you can either hold your crystal in your hand or at your heart and just take some deep breaths with the intention of tuning in to the wisdom of your crystal. And again, I'd recommend recording any experiences that you have in a journal or your book of shadows to start documenting this, because essentially what you're doing is you are inviting yourself to align with the wisdom of this crystal. And remember that crystals are patterns of coherence and alignment. So when we create space in our day to tune into our breathings, when we create space in our day to tune into our breathing and focus our intention on a crystal, essentially what we're doing is we're giving ourselves an opportunity to slow down and to create that own pattern of coherence and alignment within our own life and within our own being. We as human beings are constantly in flux, right? There's so many things in our bodies that are constantly moving and changing and shifting, and we have all these emotions, and there's a lot going on. But crystals really are stable in their energy, and when we can tune into our breath and slow down and focus our intention on working with the stone, we can start to invite some of that own pattern of coherence and alignment into our own life. And when we do, that's when we can start to feel more of that creative energy, where we can get into a flow state where manifesting becomes easier. And also we can feel like we have a more focused mindset. We're more easily able to achieve our goals. And also, if you think about it, that's kind of like what health is, right? Health is a state of coherence and alignment when all the cells are working together harmoniously to your benefit for your survival, right? So those are just a couple little tips and tricks. And if you are a crystal lover and you liked this video, please go ahead and hit the thumbs up button and consider subscribing to my channel. I'm hoping to start uploading more videos like this here on YouTube. I absolutely love geeking out about crystals, talking about their energy, and also talking about the magic of jewelry and personal adornment. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope you found this video valuable. And if you have any crystal healing experiences that you would like to share, please go ahead and let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. And thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.